Hello, hello. So today is another day of the live crowdfunding stream, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about Q4. It's not the best sexiest topic, Q4, quarter four. So a lot of people who want to launch on crowdfunding probably are hearing about the word Q4 or quarter four or just kind of some variation of that right now. And you're probably wondering, like, what is this Q4 thing? What is this quarter four thing? Like, why do I have to be worried about it? Why do I have to care about it? So let's kind of talk about it. So Q4 is the fourth quarter of the year. There's quarter one, January to March, quarter two, three, and quarter four is October, November, and December. And what's important about Q4 is that everyone kind of, so from like the creator side, everyone wants to kind of launch before the end of the year. They want to be like, okay, let's launch and kind of wrap things up before the end of the year. And so we can start off the new year with a new product that's already launched, right? We can start like scaling things and start doing all that after the new year because we have already launched in the previous year. And so everyone who's been kind of pushing their projects and their launches off from Q1, 2, or Q3, like being like, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, my subscriber list isn't enough, or oh, I'm not ready because like there's some kinks with the prototypes, or oh, I'm not ready because X, Y, and Z, right? A lot of people are just kind of have to push off their timeline for launch back and back and back. And then they find out that, wow, they're like in the last quarter of the year already, and they either have to launch, in this last quarter, or they have to launch in the new year. And so people are kind of racing to launch during this time of year, this quarter four. And from a creative perspective, yeah, I get it. You have to, you want to launch in this last quarter, and you kind of want to get everything squared away and live before the new year hits, right? Before everything kind of shuts down. One thing to really, really keep in mind, though, is that Q4 is kind of a good but also bad time to launch, right? Good because since everyone is launching during this time, this first of the October time period of Q4, there's lots of traffic going to your campaign. Actually, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Q4 is great. The beginning of Q4, like October, is a great, it's a great month to launch. There's not really anything going on. People aren't really buying anything else or kind of taking their money anywhere else or taking their spend anywhere else. However, when you get to November and you get to December, things start to get a little iffy. Excuse me. Well, things start to get a little iffy, especially because Kickstarter has the US market as its largest, predominantly large market, right? And so when it comes to November and December, everyone starts getting into that holiday season, holiday buying mode, holiday gifting season. And so a lot of people start thinking about, hey, what can I buy and get right now and get shipped to me 2-day delivery, or get shipped to me in like 5 days, get shipped to me so I can give it to people physically for the holiday season. People start shifting into that mindset rather than have the mindset of, hey, what can I back to get 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, 12 months down the line, right? People are thinking about more immediate things that they can get so that they can have the items, the gifts, the presents for people on Christmas Day or on whatever holiday they celebrate, and just have it for people right away rather than backing something and waiting for something months down the line. And so that's what you have to really be kind of cognizant about when it comes to launching projects in the last quarter of the year, in these last few months of the year. There's October, there's November, there's December. October, people aren't really thinking about that yet. But November and December, people really, really gearing up for that. And a lot of people's expenditures, a lot of people's paychecks, a lot of people's The monthly budgets that people have are usually directed towards these presents, these gifts, rather than supporting a pre-ordered product. So that's something to really keep in mind too, as you're trying to figure out when to launch and if your project is good to launch right now or not. Another thing to really think about too during this quarter is that big companies, big tech companies, big organizations, they usually have annual budgets, right? They have the marketing team has like an annual budget to use in order to launch new products, scale new products, make sales, online and offline. And what happens for these companies is that after the end of the year, after December 31st, whatever budget they don't use for that year typically gets cut when it comes to the next year. So for example, if a company gets $20 million allocated throughout the year, and they end up using just $15 million by the end of December 31st, the next year, typically they kind of get less funds. They get that 15 million rather than the 20 million to start off the next year with, because it seems like they don't need marketing budget. They don't need the marketing funds. So with that said, a lot of the time during this last quarter of the year, this last period of the year, companies are spending money online. Companies are spending money on advertising, promotions, sales, everything they can do to kind of spend up their marketing budget to not only hit annual targets, annual goals, quarterly targets, quarterly goals, but also to make sure that their budget is allocated in the full so that they can start off with another full allocated budget next year. With that said, if your campaign is looking to run online advertising, if your campaign is looking into doing paid digital ads at all, it's a difficult time. Things like cost per click goes up during this time because so many people are just kind of bidding for attention. Cost per acquisition usually goes up during this time. Cost per lead goes up during this time, just because, again, everyone is bidding for attention. Everyone is vying for attention from their own from their audience, from an audience pretty much. And everyone's just paying for that attention, and everyone's paying a lot for that attention because there's so many parties involved trying to buy that online digital attention for purchases, for money, for dollars. So when it comes to crowdfunding during this quarter, during the last quarter of the year, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's okay, right? Like October crowdfunding is still pretty good to go. However, when you hit like the middle to end of November, if you want to launch during that time, or if your campaign ends beyond the middle or end of November, things can start getting a little iffy for you, especially if you're, again, trying to when you're trying to run advertising or when you're trying to compete with where people want to budget their funds. This is especially true with something like with crowdfunding, because payments aren't truly captured until the end of the campaign. Even with Indiegogo, people can pay and their credit card will be charged, but throughout that campaign period itself, they can refund at any time. So pretend you launch your campaign November 1st and the campaign ends on November 30th. Okay. And so someone backs your campaign on November 1st, but then on November 28th, they realize that they haven't found all the Christmas presents for their entire family yet to put under the Christmas tree. And so what they have to do is refund that pre-order on Indiegogo that has already, the credit card has been charged already, but refund that so they can take their funds elsewhere to get a present for the holiday season. So that's kind of what you have to keep in mind if you want to launch during this time. If you want to launch during this time, you want to make it so that you either launch all in October or you launch so that your campaign ends before the middle of November, because again, the middle of November is when that psychology, people's psychology starts shifting towards really holiday gifting and holiday season and holiday buying. So with that said, when are you launching? If you think your campaign is going to be ready for November 15th, or it's going to be ready December 1st, or if it's going to be ready during whatever time of day, time that's in the last 2 months of the actual year itself. I'd honestly recommend waiting till the new year, right? Wait until the new year, since a lot of that energy for online buying, a lot of those budgets for online buying will not be kind of taken elsewhere. The attention will be taken elsewhere. The cost per acquisitions and clicks and leads and things like that start dropping down again as big companies and other companies are just trying to spend and vie for attention in that way. And people are kind of doing a reset in their mind, right? Okay, that was the past year. This is going to be the new year. This is going to, everything I buy in this year is going to be, for the new year, new me, right? And so when you're thinking about launching products, there are cycles. Crowdfunding has a cycle too, and you can clearly see this happening where when products launch throughout the year, and products that are successful, projects that are successful, the percentage of that decreases when you get to this end of year holiday season, presumably again because people are just pivoting their funds elsewhere, rather than to back something on crowdfunding. And a lot of people I hear want to launch products before the end of the year because they have really quick manufacturing turnarounds, right? They have really, really quick manufacturing turnarounds that will allow them to ship for the holiday season, ship for Christmas, ship for whatever other holiday is that you celebrate, right? A lot of people say that, oh yeah, I could ship for the end of the year. That I would really recommend to not shoot for that, especially if you're a first-time creator, because shipping and packages and delivery, all that kind of the normal timelines for that kind of get thrown out the window. It kind of gets thrown out the window because so many people are shipping and sending and receiving and delivering so many different things that the system gets overwhelmed. Right? The system for normal mail packages, letters, whatever, there's a certain amount that the system usually can handle on a normal basis. And yes, the system, USPS, FedEx, UPS, all these people, they hire more people during the holiday season, yes, to like help get packages out and help get things out to doors. However, the number of people just sending things is vast, right? There's a giant uptick in the number of people doing this. And so things get lost in the mail more often during this time of year, just honestly, because the sheer size and the sheer speed everyone has to kind of work through. Things get lost more often. So that kind of means, honestly, like long-term lower customer satisfaction. If the first package of a company that you ever order from gets lost and it takes you 4 or 5 weeks to retrieve it or try to figure something out with a company, like it's gonna leave a sour taste in their mouth. They're probably not gonna want to come back again to support you, or they're not gonna want to come back again to kind of be a loyal customer. And not only that, but typically delivery timelines just get missed, right? It just gets missed because again, there's so many people out there at the moment trying to ship things, and so many people out there during this quarter trying to just get things to other people that it's hard to make sure those timelines stick. So like 2-day delivery might not be 2-day delivery. Getting something from a factory in China on a barge to a fulfillment center in the US and individually shipped out to various people across various zones, West Coast, Middle, Central America, or even like on the East Coast, like that's not going to happen as seamlessly as when you're not in this last quarter of the year, just because the sheer number of packages. So if this is you, if you're thinking about launching on like November 1st, if you're thinking about launching at the beginning of the year, like I would really recommend just waiting to the beginning of next year, right? Just waiting, because there's less headache for you. The ad costs are less, firstly, right? There's less headache when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. There's less mistakes when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. There's less there's more funds in general targeted towards crowdfunding. Lots of people are just looking at crowdfunding during the beginning of the year. There's all these different reasons that I that people kind of overlook or don't see or don't know about when they are trying to crowdfund, especially for the first time. Right? They don't know that these are kind of the things you should be wary of, or you should be aware about when it comes to crowdfunding and when it comes to shipping and delivery. Because, for example, with this delivery thing, in the long run, if you're able to, firstly, under promise and over deliver, if you say, hey, I'll get it to you by X date, and you deliver it, a month beforehand, people are going to love it. People are going to love what you're doing. People are going to love that you're able to offer that value, right? And they're going to have that positive kind of association with your business. However, if you're going to miss your delivery deadline, and now they find out that they have nothing under the Christmas tree for their family, that's not a great feeling for them, and they're going to have a kind of a negative association with the company. So this impacts the long-term kind of growth and trajectory of your business too. It's something that you really have to think about, because yes, it's great to have a new product launch, but if you launch a new product and you're not able to deliver it for this time, or you're not able to get a big enough crowd, like what is it like for the long-term growth of your business? It can be really hurtful, and a lot of companies who try to do this, end up failing this first time, because they have all these grand ideas of getting things out in time, like launching on October, getting things out by December, and getting people their packages, and then it's February, and a lot of people still haven't gotten their products from crowdfunding yet, just because all the logistical nightmares that can happen. So if this is you, if you're looking to launch at the end of the year, please wait till the new year. Please wait till the new year, because it's going to be much easier for your purse strings for advertising. People are going to be looking more towards crowdfunding, actually spending money on crowdfunding. The shipping delivery isn't going to be a complete catastrophe. The long-term loyalty to your brand is going to actually be okay if you're able to actually deliver on all of these things that you talk about. So at the end of the day, if this is you, please consider this, because it's very important. Okay, well, this is kind of a quick one. If you like what you're listening to today, be sure to join the email list. It's at crushcrowdfunding.com/subscribe. In it, I talk about things I don't even talk about here on the live. I send you super secret fun things about crowdfunding, all the things I'm experimenting with and doing. And you also get a fun little surprise when you subscribe too. So be sure to subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.